Hi everybody, this is Lisa with LRF Creations. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other half or the other part of the ornaments that we did yesterday. Yesterday for me, maybe not for you. What I did do was initially when I prepared the ornaments, I had them taped with frog tape. It's the wide frog tape. And I basically created this whole part of the ornament that has no paint on it was completely covered by the frog tape. And I just kind of eyeballed it, as you can tell, because they're not completely halfway. I put the tape around to create a nice seal, a line going around the ornament. And then I did my pour on the ornament on the side that was not covered by the tape. So now that the paint has dried, I want to go ahead and try to pour and continue doing the decoration of the paint on the other side of the ornament. I don't know if this is going to work. It's going to be an experiment, a test to see if it will work or not. For this part, since I'm not really sure if this is going to work, and I don't want the frog tape on here because I don't want the frog tape to pull up the dried paint. So that's the conundrum here. So it's great for the first part of the ornament to use the frog tape because you get that nice seal and you can get a nice straight line. As you can tell, that's pretty straight. And the paint stopped, and all I had to do, once it was dry, just pull it up, and I had that nice straight line for the most part. But since I want to cover this part and not pull the paint off whenever I remove whatever it is I'm using to cover it up, I decided to go with something that would give a nice seal, but at the same time not be so sticky that it's going to pull that paint up. Now what I currently have on here, I have the Glad Press and Seal. It's a Glad Press and Seal. I like to use this on my cake spinner. I usually double up on this on the cake spinner just because it's not completely wide enough to completely cover my cake spinner. I'll do one this way and then one this way. But it gives a nice coverage. It's sticky enough that it will protect the cake spinner, but at the same time it's easy enough to pull off. So I figured it would be fairly safe to use on the side that is currently painted and is dry. So I've gone through already and already done all of the ornaments with the Glad Press and Seal there, as you can see. So tonight I'm going to continue doing the decorations. This was ornament 1, that's number 2. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this was the last one we did in the previous video. I'm just going to continue with what I initially did. These two I blew them out on the ornaments themselves. These two I did on the tiles. I blew out on the tile and then I transferred the paint onto these. So I'm going to continue that process as well. And then the rest of these I blew them out on the ornaments themselves. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue that, and then once they're dry, I will come back and I will videotape me removing the Glad Press and Seal, and we'll see what it looks like once they're done. Keep our fingers crossed that it does work. Like I said, I've never done this before. It's all an experiment. Lisa with LRF Creations. Today I'm going to show you the final results of the ornaments after they have dried. We did the second half of the pour on the side of the ornament that did not have any paint on it, and I let them dry overnight. I did do a wrap at the bottom with the Glad Press and Seal. So this is what I used to cover the bottom. This also was covering the part of the ornament that had previously been painted. I did not want to pull that paint up, so that's why I used the Glad Press and Seal. Since I've never done that as an option for covering up areas, this is an experiment. So I just want to show you guys, I have already undone a couple of these ornaments. I just want to show you what it looks like. So this was the ornament that I did, one of the ornaments I did yesterday. This was the top part that we poured yesterday. This was the bottom part that was covered by the Glad Press and Seal the day before. As you can see, it kept intact, the paint. There are no tears in it or anything, and it hasn't come up. A little bit of paint, and that's from my fingers, did get here, and I'll just touch that up later. There is also a seam between the two halves, which is expected. You can easily do something to cover that up, like maybe some type of decoration or maybe some dots. It'll cover up the seam, something to cover up the seam like that. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys what it looks like, and I'm going to go ahead and unwrap one of the ornaments that I haven't unwrapped yet. Let's see if we got one loose. These are all sticky because the paint dried. And as you can see, here is the Glad Press and Seal. This is where we did the pour. And here's the Glad Press and Seal. Starting off, you want to be really careful because it does grip a little bit. And it did pull just a little bit on this one, and that's my fault because I grabbed the paint with it as well. But we can always fix that later. So this one did come up a little bit. Again, I can fix that when you put I'm going to cover these or coat these with epoxy resin, so that'll help keep it in place. But again, for the most part, it didn't pull up too much of the previous layer of paint there. So that's what it looks like. Thanks, everybody. Hello, everyone. I just want to show my results of the ornaments. I did paint both sides of the ornament, and I know whenever I painted both sides, I ended up with the seam. I did do some decoration of the seam itself and did these little dots around it so it'll hide it. I think overall they came out pretty well. For the most part, I feel like I had the best results with the paint, where I put the paint on the ornament with the cell activator and then blew it out across the ornament itself. I did try the technique where I did do the blowout initially on the tile and then blew out the paint on the tile and then transferred that paint onto the ornament. Here's one here. Here's one of the examples. While I did have some big cells, I wasn't crazy about it. I felt like there's just too much I'm losing. I'm losing too much of the color. I feel like I'm doing that. My transfers are not that great either. And here's another one that I did the transfer technique on. So they're not terrible, but they're not exactly my favorite either. But all the rests I did the blowout actually on the ornament itself. I think overall they came out pretty well. The goal after they finish curing, after the paint has finished curing, what I plan on doing is going ahead and sealing them with epoxy resin. Thank you. Hello everyone, this is Lisa. Just want to show you guys some ornaments that I've done. These ornaments have blooms on them. The blooms are front and back. As you can see, front, and then the back side. Front, back. Most of these, when I did them, I blew out on the actual ornament itself to get the effect, and I've got an example of one that was an actual transfer, and that's this one here. One side it came out so-so, the other side not so much. I've lost a lot of my cells here. And again, the rest of these are all blown out on the ornament itself. And I did the front and back. Just wanted you guys to see that I was able to figure out a way to make sure I got the blooms on both sides. Thanks.